Only you.
Hi guys, it's Bree, and this is my CBR 650R 2023. So this is actually my second bike. My first bike was a sparkly hot pink GSX 500F, I think it was, 2004. So a little bit of an upgrade. I turned 21 in a little less than a month, and I got my first bike when I was 19. So I'm going to share with you guys how I did it. And to start off, my mom absolutely wanted nothing to do with it. She was not supportive at all, and kind of still isn't, which is fair because it is a dangerous thing to get into. But yeah, my mom was not supportive, so I had to do everything on my own. So I actually have been into motorcycles like ever since I was a little kid. I've just always have been interested in them and have had a passion for them. And I knew it was something that I wanted to get as soon as possible. Unfortunately, the only person that was supportive of me getting one was my dad, who kicked the bucket, RIP, before I even turned 18. So I didn't have that help either. So how did I do it? Where did I start? Some of you have probably seen the helmet creators on TikTok and stuff. You'll learn that the biker community, there are some judgmental people out there, and you just have to ignore them. Honestly, they're pieces of crap. You don't need their input. I got my gear before I got my bike because I'm not going to ride my bike without my gear. So I just started off by saving up for gear and made sure that I had the basics, which in my opinion are a helmet, a jacket, and gloves. My uncle actually rides bikes, so my first helmet was gifted to me, so I didn't have to worry about that. I'd honestly have to make a whole separate video going in depth on gear because of how much goes into it. My biggest thing is make sure that the helmet that you do get is DOT and ECE certified. In super basic terms, that just means it's going to do what it's supposed to do and actually keep your head safe. There should be a sticker on the back bottom part of the helmet that tells you if it is ECE or DOT certified. I don't know if I can show you guys, but you can try to see. Did you see it? Anyways, so while I was saving up and looking for what gear I wanted to get, I scheduled my motorcycle's temps test. And the motorcycle's temps test is literally exactly like the driver's temps test. You literally just schedule it and you go in and you answer some questions on a computer and make sure you don't get too many wrong so you pass. But once you pass, you have your temps. And that's kind of crazy to think about. Literally anyone of any age, I guess if you're 16, you have to have parent permission, but you can just go answer some questions on a computer and then legally be able to ride on two wheels on the street with zero motorcycling experience or zero clutch experience too. I personally think that that's insane, which is why I would highly recommend taking an MSF course. I already had basic riding knowledge and things because I'd practically been studying it and watching it most of my life. But the MSF course is extremely helpful for anyone of any riding level, honestly, of any riding experience, honestly. But they really go in depth on emergency braking, riding defensively, just preventative things that you should definitely know if you're going to be out there. because things will inevitably go wrong, and that's mostly what they're helping you out with there. They do go over like basic, like turning the bike on, getting it in gear, like it's like no experience whatsoever. They'll help you get through it. I think there might be like different types of beginner classes, but the most basic one, the one that I took, is a 3-day course. 1 day is in the classroom and you're basically going through slides and it's really boring, but you still learn a lot out of it. And then 2 days of being out in the field, so riding the bikes. And they do provide bikes for you. I think like the most common types of bikes are like a Honda Rebel, like just smaller things to learn on and like get comfortable being on. It's basically just being able to get comfortable onto wheels in a safe, contained environment with professionals and with the mental safety of knowing that if you do drop your bike or something, it's not your own bike that you spent a bunch of time to be able to afford, and you don't have to pay for it. I think like if you drop your bike, you just sign like a little paper thing so that they can keep track of damages. But if you drop their bikes, it doesn't, like, you don't have to do anything. For the first whole day of riding, it's just all going through different like skills and stuff. And then the second day will be partially skills. And then at the end, they'll have you do the like actual writing test. And the writing test is just the skills and stuff that they had you practicing before. Like my test was literally exactly what they had us doing, just they were testing us on it. So definitely don't stress it once you get to that point. I actually dropped my bike during my test and technically failed. It started raining right when we were taking our tests, and when we got to the emergency braking part, I was the first one to go, and I didn't realize how much paint was like on the portion where I had to stop, and it was so slick. My bike slid right out from underneath me. It was pretty embarrassing. You do get to take your What? You do get to retake your test if you fail. And luckily, my instructors were super nice and they just let me retake it right then and there so that I didn't have to reschedule or anything. And I actually ended up passing my test with 0 points taken off. So if you're a girl, definitely don't let the men intimidate you, because it was just me and one other girl in my writing class, and we were the top of our class. Once you finish the writing exam and you pass, hopefully, they'll send you a certificate that you take to the B&B, and you just hand that over to them, and that certificate actually will get you your actual license, so you don't have to go and take a test to get your license, because that was your test. And you also get it should have like a little thing on your license for your endorsement. And the endorsement should also lower your insurance for your bike if that's something you're worried about. The only difference between the temps and the license is with your temps, you can't ride at night or on the freeway, and I don't think you can have passengers. You also have to wear your helmet if you have your temps, but you have to wear your helmet for a year after getting your license, and also you should just be wearing a helmet anyways. Like, I don't know how people ride without one. Good rule of thumb, ride with your helmet, ride with your gear. It's a really good idea, trust me. After I got all of my basic gear and I took my MSF course, I was now comfortable being on a bike and I had my license. So it was time for me to get my own bike. Now, I had been through this whole process of getting my temps, scheduling my MSF course. I had been saving up for my bike this whole time. It only took me like a few months to save up for my bike, but I was also working 3 jobs. You just have to make sure you're consistent with putting that money aside if it's something you really want to do. Now, there is some debate on where you should get your first bike from. What I'm going to tell you personally is that if you cannot afford to buy it in full right then and there, you probably should not be getting it. Especially with like the gear and everything. I think a misconception about motorcycles is that they can be cheaper than getting into cars, and that is so not the case. Between the bike and all of the gear, if you're paying for stuff not in full at the time, you're gonna very quickly dig yourself into a hole. And for your bike, especially as a beginner, I would not buy anything that you're like loaning money out for or anything like that. I would recommend looking on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. You may have heard this already, but you will inevitably drop your bike. At least that's the mindset that you should have. I never dropped my first bike. I did kind of get hit at an intersection, but my bike didn't go down. I don't know how, but things do happen. You can slide out on gravel, like you're still getting used to your bike. Anything can happen. Especially, a lot of people don't really take into consideration the weight of these things, which as a girl that's riding, that can make maneuvering it really hard, especially with height. I'm 5'7" and I still can't flat foot on this. So it could literally just be you getting it out of the garage and you can drop it. At the end of the day, your first bike is most likely going to get scratches and dings and stuff. So I wouldn't full blow money out on like the bike that you really want. I would just start on something cheaper and something that you're going to be comfortable on just to learn. I had my first bike for I think I kept it for like a riding season and a half, and then I upgraded to this. And don't let anyone like pressure you into upgrading because your bike is too slow. I know people that will start on a 400 and stay on a 400 and never ride anything else. And that's totally fine. Everybody is riding for different reasons. Do your own thing. Don't let other people pressure you. But yeah, I'm sure it's worked out for some people, but I personally wouldn't recommend spending a crap ton of money at a dealership to go buy a brand new Ninja 500 or an R3 or something. It just doesn't make sense to me personally, but other people can tell you differently. But if you are going to look on like Marketplace and stuff, definitely make sure you bring someone with you who has experience with bikes and knows what to look for when going to get one, because that's the only downside to Marketplace is that some people are kind of sketchy. So you just need to know what to look for, make sure there's nothing wrong with it that they're trying to hide. As long as you know what you're looking for, you should be fine. So finally, I had my bike, I had my license, I could legally be on the road. Not. My mom found out that I got my bike and was not happy about it, so I had to apply for my own insurance. This process is actually a lot easier than I thought it'd be. I, for some reason, was under the impression that it was really hard, but I thought that it was a big grown adult thing, and big grown adult things normally aren't easy. But it was not that hard. You basically just have to look up different insurance companies, put in your make, model, VIN number, all that stuff, and then it'll probably ask you for your socials so that it can look you up and make sure you don't have any like tickets or accidents on your records, because that will make your rate skyrocket. I speak from experience. I should be paying $80 on insurance for this, but I'm paying $180 because of the guy that hit me at that intersection on my first bike. But it's super easy to get your own insurance if you haven't done that before. It's just kind of tedious because you have to go through so many different insurance companies and put your information in and get quotes from them. I had to spend a good amount of time plugging my information in until I found the company with the lowest rate for me. Everybody's gonna have like different experiences with which one is gonna be the best. Now that I have my insurance and everything else, now I can actually legally be out on the road. My recommendations when you first start riding, start in a neighborhood or a parking lot. Just get used to the feeling of your clutch, your throttle, the weight of your bike, because every bike feels differently. I was practicing on like a Honda Rebel at the MSF course, which is way lighter than the bike that I was actually riding. So you have to get comfortable just with the weight alone, being able to feel that out. Once you're comfortable enough, you can move out to the streets. And once you're comfortable there, maybe try the highways. I don't think I rode on the highway for a good like year when I had my bike because I was just too scared to. It's not that bad. It's honestly probably safer than riding on the normal roads because there's no going and stopping, but don't push yourself. I didn't. And if you ever start riding with other people, ride your own ride and never trust anyone, even if they're your best friend. Anything can happen at any point. Make sure you keep a safe distance. Make sure you give yourself time to react to everything. And maybe just hold off on riding in big groups at all, period, because I've been riding for like 3 years now and they still stress me out because you just never know who you're riding with and the type of riders they are. You can be fully confident on your bike and how to maneuver it and everything. And next thing you know, some guy's running you off the road wearing basketball shorts and slides because he's trying to do a power wheelie and doesn't know how to. That's not always the case, but regardless, ride your own ride. Keep yourself safe. That's all I have for you guys. I hope this video helps some of you, or at least helps motivate you into taking your MSF course, because I think it's super helpful and I think that it should be a requirement anyways. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!